and I met Jesus Christ. He was almost 10 years old, and he was helping his mother push a trolley full of all they owned. And because they couldn't find an inn they could get in, they were heading to the city and leaving Bethlehem. Couldn't you perform a miracle? I'm out of them, he said. I tried turning nothing into warmth, but it just made my mother cry. It just made my mother cry. Mary Magdalene has become a man, and tonight he's old, and she has been riding my tram. Now it's late and she's trying to sleep beneath the poster for a bank. Your dreams are important to us as it bathes her face in gold. Come give us your natural gifts, we make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's page that we're advancing Australia fair. Let's pretend that we're all advancing Australia fair. Back down the road I found the church we built on the black man's bones was empty, and out the front a sign read all but sold. A sign read all but sold. And we all owe so much money, but to whom we're not quite sure. So head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. So head down, we just keep running along our fading golden shores. Come give us your natural gifts, we make wealth from toil. Come pretend for history's page that we're advancing Australia fair. Let's pretend that we're all advancing Australia fair.
Hi guys, this is special for tonight. It's going to be, oops, I think I just got rid of the wrong video. bear with me. In November 2023, I was called up by Maurice, who had the big freedom truck at Epic, and that's where I met him, and he's a really great guy. Yeah, that's the one I want. And anyway, he asked me to come across. I went across. We did interviews on the way and back. And it's been 3 years, and I haven't had the time to actually put it together. But I've got some time. And so this is the first time that we've put it together. So see what you think. And I'm going to put all the interviews. It's just snippets of interviews. All the interviews are going to go into like a YouTube folder. So if you want to go and actually watch each interview in whole, you can go there. But the internet is so slow, I'm unable to get them up at the moment. So anyway, okay, that's it. Look, I hope you enjoy the show. So this is us setting up for tonight's No Goat show. Maurice is putting up the flags. We've got the cockatoos over there. We're going to probably do it in that park. There's a garage there. Toilets. Looks like this is an overnight RV stay. So we might get a few... there's an RV toilet thing there, so we might get a few grey nomads coming in, but they'll probably get scared off when they see the truck. So we'll get the Starlink out, and we'll set the Starlink here somewhere, and oh, I've got the perfect place. Look at that. I've got my studio. There's my studio right there. So Maurice is reversing the truck, so we got a better backdrop, and that's our Starlink there that we're setting up. So hopefully we can get internet, so we'll get some power to this thing and get it. Now comes the tension. So there's Starlink, and up there hopefully there's enough satellites in that blue sky to allow us to have a show. Here we are. Maurice has moved the truck back. Looks great. So I'm just going to set the computer up there. That's our backdrop. And let's see if the Starlink works.
Gravity feels stronger these days. Is that why our energy continues to fade? It's like we've woken up on someone else's earth. It's like we've all woken up on somebody else's earth. Where were we when everything was changed? Was it when they made our houses our cage? Forever since then, everything we loved is now another reason to be ashamed. Why are we putting up with all of this? Don't we want all of our kids to know that they are all wanted, and that this land is their home? Why are we putting up with all of this? Don't we want all of our kids to know that they are all wanted, and that this land is their home? Corellas are on fire tonight, sharing their defiant larrikin souls. A larrikin song our kids may never sing in the silent world we're building for them. A quiet world full of debt and shame that we are leaving to them.
Mission to Melbourne, mission to Perth. Oops. Before I go to the thing. And there's Florence. G'day, Flo. Congratulations on making it here. And I'm just going to do a reach out because I haven't had the time to get any stickers for mine. But someone on the way gave us her. That's been all around Australia. Now she's with me. And obviously that expression is a statement about my driving skills.
Going live with us, you're just going to...
I was just going to do a recording first. So here we are in Broken Hill, and I made it, Maurice.
Glad to see you got here, mate.
And the truck looks amazing.
Oh, thank you.
What's the reaction been being here?
Yeah, I've had 18 interactions in the last hour and a half here.
And what are they doing? Stopping? They were bibbing you?
Tooting and giving the thumbs up. Then I had a lady actually stop and talk to me, and then another lady stopped and gave me the card and said give her a ring, she wants to come down and have an interview.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, we're off. That's great.
That's it, yeah.
Did she say what she did?
Yeah, she's actually a vet. So I won't say any more than that. It's up to her probably to tell you the story. So
yeah, great.
I heard a bit of it, but yeah.
Okay, so the trip
Yeah, it's up to her to what she really wants to tell you, eh?
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is now, that's going all the way to Perth and then back.
That's correct, and it looks like I might have to go back through Melbourne on the way home because all the roads up here are going to be blocked.
Oh, really? That's what they're hearing?
And that's what they're talking about because Wilcannia was looking like it was going to get flooded from the water that's coming down from Burke. Okay, I'm just out of Burke at the moment. There've been roads closed down the road. What's happening up here is let the big trucks through, but no cars allowed to come through. Well, we'll see what happens, eh?
The Corellas are on fire tonight, sharing their defiance.
Here in Broken Hill, this very interesting woman has turned up. She stopped and asked what we were doing here. And we've coerced her into doing an interview.
Do you want me to take the glasses off?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
But so tell us, are you from Broken Hill?
No, I'm born and bred in Melbourne, and this is my 14th country town that I've lived in, plus Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra. I've taught in all those places.
So you're a teacher, but
Yeah.
right now, the thing that amazed us is you're doing 2 degrees, right?
I have done 2 degrees,
Done
I've
2
completed them, and I'm now looking at doing a thesis.
And how old are you?
81.
That's astonishing. Your brain must be amazing.
Oh, yes, because I was allowed to grow up and use my brain as a kid.
So explain what you mean by that.
Well, when I grew up, my family, my parents treated us like little adults. Emotion was no outward emotion. There was no anger. There was no shouting in the household. I had aunts who would say, "Beth, you don't speak like that." You know, there was these sort of aunts, but my parents never did that.
Wow.
And
And what were they? Were they teachers themselves?
No, my mother was, of course, in that period a housewife and mother, and my father worked with a finance company in Melbourne. But we were just allowed. I remember saying to her, I didn't get into my chosen tertiary thing. I'm going to repeat the year. She said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes, I'm sure." So, it was my decision. Then I said to her one day, "I'm not going to Sunday school anymore," about 11 or 12. And she looked at me and said, "Are you sure about that?" I said, "Yes, I don't want to go." Okay. So we were allowed to make decisions.
See what they done to me for my first day when I had to go to court. 9 coppers walked up to me and arrested me because I refused to move on. Why would I move on when I had to be at court that day because of them? Doesn't make sense, does it?
They arrested you for not moving on, but you were due at court.
Yes, that's right. And I have witnesses. This is how corrupt this system is.
How do you keep smiling after all this?
Because they're idiots, I'm sorry. You got to laugh at the stupidity, you really do. Because if you let it chew you alive, you're no better than them. And you're going to turn out to be as worse as those guys. So, I stay faithful and positive, and I'm not going to let shit like that bring me down.
Interesting thing we brought up is with your meteorology, talk about cloud seeding. Now, there's a lot of people who believe that we have been drowned out by the globalists. But what is your view of cloud seeding?
Cloud seeding is more for a natural phenomenon to create the increase in yields across Australia where the rainfall is deficient. In other words, it is more of a natural phenomenon than anything else, irrespective of what's produced in the papers.
And how do they actually do it?
Well, they use a special plane. I can't mention the name of the plane, but the thing is, it provides that seed at a certain height below the cloud level, and as it's sent out, it goes up into the cloud, creating instability in the cumulus, which creates cumulonimbus. And 70 or 80 k to the east, southeast, or wherever that cloud is moving, it will provide the precipitation for those areas in the agricultural regions of Australia.
So here's Maurice. He's watching one of the videos from last night that we did, a girl called Nikki, so we're streaming that live now. Last night was really interesting. There was, when we did the live show, there was a young guy that spoke, and then some other people turned up and they stood here on the periphery. They kind of wanted to meet us, but were sort of nervous as well. And the people from Broken Hill didn't know who they were. But Maury went up and spoke to them. These people were from Broken Hill. And this morning we've had some woman come up, look at the truck, and she just looking at it, she goes, "So what's your story?" She's going to Maury, and she's asking all these questions, and then he starts doing the spiel, and she goes, "Oh, you don't have to preach to me, I'm unvaccinated." And I think it's really interesting that we don't know who is and who isn't vaccinated, and so they've sort of divided us that way with by keeping it silent. So everyone thinks everyone's vaccinated, but in actual fact we might have a huge population that isn't, or an even bigger population that's inadequately vaxxed. You know, they've only had 1 or 2 or even 3 now. And but I think the news of the morning is that the G20 now wants vaccine passports for everyone by next year. And that reminds me of how they're doing that with cattle, when they said foot in mouth. Every cattle has to have its own passport. And that's what it makes me feel like. To me, you have a passport as if you go travel. You want one, you get one. But make us all have these passports, what are they going to do if we don't want one? Because I don't want one. I don't want the government that close, that deep in my life. Fuck off. Anyway, so here's where we are. We're in, so there's a mining thing there. We haven't had much time to look around. It came up there, my shadow. And so we're doing, we're here to about 10 o'clock today. Or just a little bit before, a little after. We're waiting, some guy wants to come and talk to us. And then we're going to heading to Laura, a small town in South Australia, where we're going to leave the bus. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens and what comes, and we don't know. Yesterday we did some significant interviews. The cloud seeding guy is from the meteorology, and I'm not really sure if I believe him or not, but what I think is good is that we do get to hear different voices and we can debate them. What's wrong with that, you know? So he's a big believer that humans are causing climate change, and that basically we need depopulation. I'm just going to turn around and look. So there we are. Get some drone footage of the truck today as well. We've got the drone working, as long as there's no birds around. But anyway, so I put the guy up. I knew it was going to be controversial, but debate him. And he wants me to send him a copy of the video, and I will. And then there was the 81-year-old woman. She was pretty amazing. Nikki is going up now. She had a win in common law. And then the young man last night who sat down with us, so his name escapes me at the moment. He was terrific. He started the Freedom Fighters group in Broken Hill. So I think there is more people here than what people know, and that's probably the same for every town. Anyway, let's see what the day brings. So I'm just going to document watching one of the videos. There he is right there, and I'm just going to document the journey of this man, because, you know, he's never protested before in his life, before COVID, and now he's got this beautiful truck, and it's a beacon of hope for people. And I just sit here watching people bibbing their horns at him, waving at him, and I think he's a good hero to follow. So I'll be following and documenting his journey. So you log on to people, and then what would happen? What was the interaction?
So I had a sketchbook with me, and the whole thing started as a way for me to maybe try to get a little bit quicker at drawing, and because I draw as a way to spend time. It's something that I've always enjoyed, and so I started talking to the people, and because I had the sketchbook in front of me and I'd asked them if I could draw them for the most part, it kind of facilitated like an ease of conversation, because it gave space for there to be awkward silences, or silences that may have otherwise been awkward, because I'd just be sitting there sketching them. And most people were really happy to be sketched. And as this kind of got a bit of momentum, I started writing little stories about the conversation I had with the people, because something about, I don't know whether it's that website or just the pure volume of random people from around the world, that we were kind of united in a way by the times. But there were just some really compelling stories and beautiful interactions that I ended up having.
So it was really mainly about the alternative treatment protocols that really started going, like, here's all these doctors, these frontline physicians talking about stuff that can actually help with this thing, but the mission was all about, let's develop a vaccine really quickly and get this into the population. So that really started like raising some real concerns. So I started going deeper and deeper, and then seeing, you know, people obviously getting deplatformed, people, you know, people that we now know, Peter McCullough, Robert Malone, so many other people that were speaking against this that have actually now been allowed back on Twitter, thank goodness for Elon Musk. But it just really concerned me. So then I started doing my own research, but also my own blogs, you know, my own video logs talking into what was going on. So just a bit of a backstory.
So you're exercising free speech?
Absolutely, 100%. So I was in the disability sector I was a team leader in the disability sector, and I was starting to get real concerns because my research was leading me to see that a lot of the databases around the world were actually showing red flags in regards to harm for the vaccines. So I started digging more, and I was looking at the VAERS databases, and I was looking at the Vigilance databases myself, just 3 to 4 hours a night, just putting my head into this because it kind of it didn't add up. So what I was finding was I was really concerned, you know, that, hey, how come we're not talking about these red flags here? How come no one's actually talking about it? And then my concern was, being in the disability sector, our job is to be a voice for the people that we're supporting. A lot of people in the disability... An advocate. And you know, surely not everybody living with a disability hasn't got the ability to talk. You don't have to talk for everybody, but there is a vast, you know, a lot of clients that you do actually have to be a voice for. And it concerned me that I was raising my voice and concerns, that I was actually being shut down. So part of that was I was on LinkedIn and sharing information, you know, really well-researched information from PhDs, again, like McCullough, Malone, Roger Hodgson, you know, all these sorts of people, and they were being, you know, deplatformed. So then I had my manager, and I was raising concerns in my job already about my concerns about having to take clients to a doctor's appointment to get a vaccine that I had massive concerns for.
Back in the early 90s, you know, they were talking about 9/11 and the Twin Towers coming down. Yeah. So, of course, when it happened, it was like all these pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that I'd read about decades before was like, well, that happened, that happened, that happened, and that happened. So some of those whistleblowers were actually telling the truth. So that's sort of what I've done. I've tried to look at both sides of the story. I mean, it's easy to look at this side of the story because you're living it. But look at the other side of the story as well. And look at, you know, try and find a really rounded group of sort of knowledge before you make up your mind.
Why do you think a lot of people don't want to do that? They just want to believe what they're told, and they actually get frustrated with people like you who threaten to disrupt their little bubble.
I think I was just born with an inquiring mind. I can't help it. It's who I am. And I love research, and I love finding out why. You know, like probably when I was a little kid, you know, my mother probably thought all I said was, why? Because, you know, that was me. I just wanted to know why, the why of things.
So we're heading off. We're heading to Port Augusta. But why are we only doing 50 k's an hour?
Well, for a start, the speed limit in town was only 50 k's, but I normally go for about 20 minutes to get going and warm everything up, warm the tyres up, warm the engine up. The engine temperature's not even warm up to 80 yet, 80 degrees Celsius. But it allows everything, instead of hammering everything to pieces, it just gets everything into all the metal parts warming up, swelling up to their correct temperature and the tolerances. So when metal gets hot, it expands. If you go fast, you've got a big gap between all your big rings and bearings. I know it's only minuscule, but it's not really good to pop in and just flog your vehicle. So you've got to ease it up, go slow to start with, and then slowly pick up speed so you get the cruising temperature, then cruise right.
The other thing is that you are doing 80 k's on the highway. Why is that?
Why? Because you get better fuel consumption, and also gives people a chance to actually come up behind you and actually read the signs on the vehicle from behind.
Hey mate, you have a nice day, eh? Hello buddy, you too.
So we were just in Port Augusta. Here he is. We're heading off now to Ceduna. What was interesting, the last time we were in Port Augusta, we did talk to people, but no one really wanted to do an interview. That was the last time we went around, so it's the same this time.
Hasn't changed.
Hasn't changed, yeah. So did meet some lovely people, but now we're heading to Ceduna to see if any change there. One thing we heard was the taxi driver who I interviewed in Ceduna the last time I was here, who was from Kalgoorlie, who was stuck in Ceduna, is actually back in Kalgoorlie now. So maybe we'll meet up with him and he can tell his story because he got back across the border. So even though it's only been a couple of months, there are some changes. And yeah, but some horror stories of deaths in nursing home. But the main thing that everybody's talking about is why people are still so compliant. Even now that they seem to be waking up, they don't want to take any more jabs. They're very suspicious of the government, and yet they're very quiet and they're just copping it, and they don't want to talk about it. So that's an interesting discussion. I don't have any answers to that myself.
I just shake my head in shame at these people, mate. Their grandfathers fought for this country's freedom, and here they are, rolling their sleeves up and taking poison in their arms and conforming to all these Gestapo tactics. And what for? What? And they've lifted it all now, all the mandates at the top for the moment, anyway. So yeah, don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. But we can just get out there and try and put the word out. That's all I can say.
So anyway, we're off to Ceduna. Let's see if we get a bit luckier there. Now, you used to be a nurse, and you have an autoimmune disease.
Syndrome. Yeah, so I was a nurse for 20 years. I was a paediatric nurse and midwife. I've been retired now for 4 years, pre-pandemic, but I've also got an autoimmune syndrome, which is antiphosphate lipid syndrome, which is one of the top 4 exemptions for AstraZeneca vaccine, which wasn't discovered until, the rollout. So when people were dying of blood clots, they were people that had my syndrome. Yep. And
that can't get you an exemption here.
That can't get me an exemption. I haven't tried again because every time I've approached it with someone, I've been looked upon as not favourable, a derelict, an anti-vaxxer, someone who's, got a political statement in every movement. And that fired me up to almost have a political statement in everything I do now because, this stuff is not fair.
Okay, so we're just on the show from the side of the road. We're going to head off and do some night driving now. We're about 200 k's outside of Ceduna. The trucks are roaring by. I don't know if you can see the sound. I'm going to open the door again for some light. There's something like that, Witner or something, some Aboriginal name. You said Winietta or something. You said it really well. Yep. And so let's see if there's any animals out here at night time, because there's been nothing in the day except
Emus.
Emus.
I've disappeared.
So we're here in Ceduna. We camped out rough last night, or in the truck.
Come on. That's the thing is rough in my truck.
What are your feelings as we're moving along?
Oh, I think there's too much apathy. Everybody's sort of think it's all over, but it's not, and they don't give a shit anymore for some reason. They're all complying, and
you know something? I don't know if you've noticed it. Like people will give us the thumbs up. Yeah. They like the truck, but that's it. It won't.
They like the truck and what's on the truck, but yeah, a lot of people just don't want to have anything to do with us. But we're still trying. What can you do? You have to try and wake people up. And people who are awake, right, sort of feel apathetic towards us anyway, but they just don't care because they've got their freedoms now. We'll wait until 2 months' time, mate, when they're locked down again. They'll be screaming for us.
Do you think some people are sort of basically bought the new contract? Like they're saying, okay, Australia's going to be more tyrannical now, you're going to have more controls, but if you want your house, that's what you got to live with, and do you think they're saying, yeah, okay, they've accepted it?
Yes. All the people have come from Europe, from Poland and Hungary and Yugoslavia and even parts of Germany and Russia, who've lived through this shit, and they can see it all happening again, and people aren't listening to them. They should start to wake up and listen to them. They know what's happening. They've seen this happen before, and it's just not happening as far as I'm concerned.
Even with the SADs, the amount of people suddenly dying, that doesn't seem to be bothering them the mind.
Mate, they've got underlying health problems. What's narrative anyway? That's what they try to make us believe. You know, if you watch too much TV, you can have a heart attack. If you shower for too long, another heart attack. Yeah, put him back. I plan to, mate. You have a nice day yourself, eh?
I don't understand why my brothers and sisters aren't in the streets raging against the mainstream media who are just lying to us. Why they're not. Why are they just taking everything on the chin? It all seems a bit pointless. Morning.
Morning, sunshine.
How you going? Oh.
Oats.
Oats, sit in.
Oats. Cappuccino.
I'm just saying, I didn't sleep last night because
No.
No. Oh, you were awake a long time too, I heard you. Because it's just getting to me how the people are so compliant and how, we're not starting a fire, even though they all agree with us.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what gets me. They're all like, yeah, thumbs up and do this, but they won't. Yeah.
I think it's more like the world.
Yeah.
I think, we talk about divisions. It's not just divisions within religion, it's divisions within, states, within countries. We're a global thing, and I think we really have to sit down. Like, I would like people just to sit down and go, okay, look, there is good shit in communism. There is some good shit there, and there's some good shit there in democracy, but there's some good shit there in this. And we could get all those little bits of good stuff and create our own, our own new, thing that's far more equally spread, evenly spread. So there wasn't this huge divide, and it really sort of shits me out here, how people are still just, same thing like you guys were saying before, they give you the thumbs up and they talk about it in a group, on the internet, but they won't stand up.
that, you know, it's because of funding or what so-and-so. Like, I was over here when the elections were on, handing out things for Susan Waters from, you know, think Clive Palmer's a dick, but like Susan Waters, you know, and anyway, I was handing out things for that. This one dude actually told me, he's a board member of our local hospital, he actually told me that I'm playing Russian roulette by not getting vaccinated, and that if I was on a ventilator in the hospital, he'd be really pissed off if his wife needed it. What the fuck?
So we're on the Nullarbor. We're in a man's truck. We're on a man's highway. So we're going to play some manly music to drive along to. Hit it, Maurice. Waterloo.
2020, they also pushed the mandate for the flu jab, and I said to management at the time, why are you doing this? It's got nothing to do with the COVID, and they just pushed it, made it mandatory. If you don't take it working in aged care, you don't work. So I felt like shit. I knew they were doing the wrong thing.
So you did take it?
I did. I wish I had listened to my sister Ange earlier, because I would never take it again. And we took our vaccinations. Children have had their vaccinations, but hell, what I know now, I would not have any. Not a single thing.
When you say what you know now, what's changed your mind?
Just the amount, the child schedule, vaccine schedules, just ridiculous. It's gone from 3 to when we were kids to, I don't even know how many. It's ridiculous, a list long. And
they call it now your vaccination journey.
Oh, what a load of shit, hey? My goodness me. Like, it
sounds like P&O's going to sell it. Come on, the vaccination journey.
It's just crazy. Like, people need to wake the fuck up and just see what's going on. It's crazy. And now I just...
What happened with Queenstown then? After that you took the flu jab, then I take it they mandated the COVID one?
I actually had a heart attack from that.
Dear Elon Musk, I'd like to thank you, because we're touring Australia in this, we've just gone across the Nullarbor, asking people what they think of the current state of the world, and we think our freedoms have been eroded. We're interviewing people everywhere, and we're doing that's our driver there, Maurice, and we're doing shows from all over Australia, streaming them straight to the world, and the only reason we can do that in Australia is because of this guy. So that's where I'm going from, about there, and that's our truck. We've already been around Australia once, and we had terrible trouble with the internet. Now we use Starlink, and it absolutely rocks. You're amazing. So we're back here. Our our sign blew off. Hopefully it's not a oh yeah, it's bad. Mission. Not a good day for science.
Gravity feels stronger these days. Is that why our energy continues to fade? It's like we've woken up on someone else's earth. It's like we've all woken up on somebody else's earth. Where were we when everything was changed?
On the outside of the road.
Was it when they made our houses arcades?
And we find a gypsy, a refugee from Melbourne, who wanted to talk. And this is her story. The middle of Australia, and we've got a social worker here who was working in a Melbourne hospital during the pandemic. And let's start again. Just tell about the patients you saw coming in.
So a lot of the patients that I saw So the wards that I was working in was the COVID ward, ICU and ED. What I saw were people coming in who had had a vaccination and had an exacerbation of their symptoms of MS, for example, of chronic fatigue, of weakness, paralysis. So whatever their symptoms that they were managing, post the jab, they were being significantly exacerbated to a hospital admission. And then they were fighting and working through and trying to figure out what exacerbated their symptoms. And of course, the only reference they had was the jab. None of them were reported as vax injuries, but as exacerbation of symptoms of something. Fibromyalgia, chronic
Before
fatigue.
we get to the not reported as vax injuries, can you tell us again about the man with the MS?
Yes, certainly. There was a particular gentleman who had had his vaccination, came into hospital, and I was talking to him, and he was saying that post the jab, he had paralysis, weakness, exacerbation of his MS symptoms, and he had been travelling for many years and he was stable. He had spoken to his GP, he had spoken to the MS Society and encouraged to get the COVID vaccine. He did that, he was very reluctant, but he said he felt pressured to do it, so he took the vaccine. 10 days later he's in hospital with full paralysis from waist down, and a huge exacerbation of his symptoms with what they were investigating at that time. They were still investigating what the outcome was going to be long term for this gentleman, but just the concern that he and his family had about how then does a young man manage these symptoms ongoing. It was actually devastating for him and his family, and none of it was reported by the hospital as a COVID, as a vax injury.
And lots just still don't know, they still believe, So there's about, there's a third. But I think going by what you've just been talking about tonight, Paul, Victoria and stuff, I think there's more of us that are still together. And yep.
Going back to what you said about anger, I don't understand that. I don't understand why more people aren't angry. And in fact, I'm furious. But they're not. They're not. I had a chat to one guy.
I have a lot of clients that come and see me, obviously, and I'm like, it was a scam. You got duped. What are you going to do about it? Don't know. Not sure. And they know. They know it's a scam. I'm like, well, come with me. Come on. But they obviously think, I don't know, standing up for your rights or doing what we're doing, they don't think they need to do that or something.
There is more hope than you realise, because more and more people are waking up and they come. Look, when you go on the rallies, people give you the thumbs up. They're not in the protests. They give you some amazing speeches.
The truck's not getting any anger at it. Truck gets lots of love.
Yeah, people come up and say, look, they know everything the government did. Put it this way, everything the government did was basically false and unscientific. Everything they did.
Yeah.
The lockdowns didn't work.
The masks.
The mask didn't work. The jibby jab doesn't work. What else did they do that doesn't work?
Social distancing.
The social distancing was just a contrived, made-up thing. Look, the mask for the people, it may stop some dust and sawdust coming through, but it ain't going to stop a...
Well, our great comedian, he calls it the disease burqa.
The disease burqa. Who said that one?
Ryan Etherington. He's a comedian we found.
The disease burqa. Yeah, it's insane.
And the guy called it today, called it the McGowan gown.
McGowan gown. That's a classic. We got to roll that one. Yeah,
that's right. We have here a very rare specimen. We have a young person.
Yep, that's right.
How old are you?
21.
Now you're 21. You're in the freedom movement, and you're unvaccinated.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Now, your generation has been under enormous pressure and most of them have caved. Why didn't you?
I guess because I just read into it. I read, Bill Gates' plan for it. I read into Agenda 21 and stuff. And just also like the vaccine ingredients. Like I would never intentionally put aborted fetal cells in my body, because that's kind of evil. Yeah.
So are you religious?
Yes, yeah, I'm Catholic, yeah, raised very Catholic, yeah.
So a practicing Catholic?
Yeah, yes, that's correct, yeah. Yeah, go to Mass each week. I try and read my Bible almost every day. Yeah.
Were you surprised by how the Catholic Church sort of were trying to coerce you as well?
Yeah, I was actually. I don't know, because they're a they're a massive institution, so I'm not surprised there's a bit of like corruption. I was a little bit surprised at the number of people that call themselves like Catholics but can't see what's going on. They can't see that biblical prophecy is unfolding. But yeah, we're quite lucky in our local parish because we've got I won't say who he is because he probably wants to stay anonymous, but our local parish, we've got a priest that knows what's going on, and his homilies during all the masses are always about what's going on.
Is he from another country, like an Eastern Bloc country? Is this the priest I'm thinking?
He's from South Africa.
Oh no, okay, this is another priest. No, cool. It's good to know there's more.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, talk about the biblical prophecy. What? Tell us about that.
Well, there's different ones we can look at. So we can look at Matthew 24, which discusses Jesus' return. And like one of the prophecies is weather events. That could be from climate engineering, and the other one is like people's hearts growing cold. That could be because when they find out what's happened to them with the vaccine, people might be very angry, might have very cold hearts, and then. When we look in Revelation, like the visions God gave the Apostle John, like one of them, probably the most scary one, is the beast coming out of the sea and like the mark of the beast being mandatory.
Yeah, very. I'm scared actually. I'm scared how quickly people comply to this. I mean, it's like a chef would have to look into the recipes of a cupcake. But a doctor doesn't need to tell you what's inside a vaccination. The chef's worried about someone having an allergic reaction if they eat something, and we're not concerned about a vaccine that's being injected into our bodies. Really?
Okay, here we are, still in Fremantle, and we have
Matthew.
Matthew, is that Chinese, that accent?
No, this is around here they call it a Pommy accent. Yes, I'm very aware of it.
Prisoners on His Majesty's service.
That's right, His Majesty now, yeah, definitely. That's right, yeah, that's it.
Now, tell us your story. You are actually vaccinated and you're a bit concerned.
Oh, yeah, so I didn't want to get it initially, being that I don't know much about the medical science and all that. I'm a civil engineer by trade, so I was a bit wary. Heard it was no, didn't want to get it. Long story short, I was coerced into getting it. It was either unemployment or getting the vaccine. I've got 3 children, 3 girls. I'm 7, wife, 2 dogs, mortgage, all the above. I just didn't have a choice.
So love played a big part of taking it?
Oh yeah, I basically had to sacrifice and take one for the team, myself and my health. It was a risk. I also have a blood condition called ITP, which stands for idiopathic thrombocytopenic purpura, which...
I think I went there on holiday once.
Lovely place. I wouldn't recommend it though. But so basically my immune system attacks the platelets and I get thin blood and I can bleed a lot. So I was, and at the time before I got the vaccine, it was a very high, very natural rate. So I was getting real better real quick, which is great. I've had it since I was a kid, so it was fantastic to see it getting better.
How did you know you had it?
Oh, you bruise. So when I was a kid, I had lots of bruising. They took me to hospital, and it come back as this immunocompromised disorder. Don't know where it's idiopathic means I don't know where it come from, why it starts.
Really? You going to take any guesses now?
Oh, look, do you know what? Before this even started, I did wonder whether it was vaccines that caused it, because they do involve your immune system. So. Very curious, done some Googling at the time, and they're still like, well, I don't know. But since I've had it, my bruising has come back quite heavily. Along that comes fatigue and other things. I don't know whether it's related.
Can I ask, when you were taking it, what was that like the moment you were taking it, because you didn't want to do it?
I didn't sleep that night. I was terrified. My shoulder, I had some weird pain up there, which was kind of the only side effect I have, but the fear for my own health was very. I mean, like I said, I couldn't sleep. I was worried for days, and any moment I was like, oh, You know, I'm gonna. And I shouldn't have, you know, it should have been my choice, and I wasn't given a choice. You know, if I was happy about getting it, I wouldn't have been scared and worried, because I would have made an informed medical decision.
The joke, that's what this is all about. The Anzac spirit is what this entire thing is about. And personally, I'm disgusted at the way people have rolled over. As I once said in one of my chats there, you know, next time you're watching the movie Gallipoli, or watching the current series, I think it was one on Netflix, like a rejig of it. I said, that's not you, not the people standing there, the ones out there.
No.
That is not the Anzac spirit, rolling over and just letting this happen.
Yeah.
People's lives being ruined. And I will say en masse, because there's hundreds of thousands in this state, and I'm sure you extrapolate that right across the country and internationally.
100%.
And I can't wait for the Judgment Day to come for the people who rolled that out, and I know it is coming.
What was it like when you had to take it, when you had to sit there because you knew you didn't want it? What was that like?
I was stressing, and for 45 minutes I sat there debating whether or not I should take it, debating whether or not my wife and I would actually get into an argument, and whether or not I could come back to my own business. And the reason why I left working for companies and all that is so I can govern myself, run myself, and do what I like to do, and provide a good service and work hard at what I've been trained. When I had to get the needle, I stressed so much. I actually made myself, got myself a bit of a migraine from it. And yeah, it was really bad. I had my whole family just have the needle. I'm going, you guys are mad. I was the last person to get it. And in fact, if I could go back and undo it, I would. But the fact that a tennis player can come in and play tennis a tennis player can come in and play tennis now without having the jab. All the people that didn't have the jab can go back to work, but because they've learnt that it's easier on your body to be on the dole or get handouts, no one wants to work. So we've created a split in the society where people don't want to work and get paid, and people that do want to work can't find others to work in businesses for them. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, if you own a business or you want to go forward in this life. You have to conform, and that's the problem.
Is it?
Yeah.
So who do we have here?
Natasha.
Now, Natasha, you told us outside that you were for it and now you're against it. What happened?
Against it. It's because I forced him to do things he didn't want to do, which were unnecessary. And now I did all this paperwork, all these rules, and I was going to get fined, come in. Nothing happened. We never even got checked on once, And two, it's a violation because, like I said, I got sicker than him. We both had the needles. No difference. I don't think it would have made a difference personally. Plus, we fought. We nearly broke up over it. And that's the genuine truth, because he's one way, I'm the other. And I'm saying, you can't come in here because it's the law. And he's saying, well, you know, like everyone else was. And I regret it now because I just don't think it was necessary.
I was eating as I used to do all day, eating to avoid to wear the mask because, you know, when you eat, you
Where'd you put the food?
Anyway, and then, so the first two I was okay, but when 20 minutes later I have the same other two police officers search for the same reason, I got a little bit upset and I start to tell them off because, you know, how you can come 20 minutes distance, so much to do in Fremantle, you know, you're coming just for the mask, wasting your time. I think they didn't like the way I talked to them, and every week they decide to come to search me with the mask. Okay, and I thought there was...
Every week?
Every week, two police officers. And there was always the second one came for the first time. So I think these two, they got upset, especially one, got upset for my attitude. So he decided to come just to check on me. And yeah, so he came for the 11th time.
11 times?
11 times. So the last one, he came to my shop. He was a Pommy police officer, like my size. And I saw him parking. So I went and I put my mask on. So he saw me fine with the mask and he said to me, oh, because we're looking for all the shops around, we have to make sure everybody's following with the mandate. When he left my shop, I saw him going straight to the car. So he wasn't really doing the job. He came, he parked, he came to my shop, he left my shop, went to the car. So automatically I thought he came just for me. So I went to tell him something in the car, like, why you lied to me? You say you're coming. And he was in the car without a mask.
Really sick when he was 14 from the HPV that they gave him at high school. They lined him all up, and he didn't want to go against the grain and went ahead, and instantly he got sick, and I knew something was up with that. So I started questioning.
Just tell me how he got sick. What was his symptoms?
He had blood coming out both ends. He stopped eating. He was in the fetal position. He went from healthy, strong, active kid to he actually told me he wanted to die.
Yeah, and that was the main reason actually that I had it. I thought, I just want to get this out of my head. I'm sick, I don't really know both sides. At the time I didn't know that the two sides of the stories.
Yeah.
So,
and what do you think of your premier?
McGowan.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't hear much of him. Actually, you don't get much news. It's hard to catch much news in Western Australia about our own state, really. There's just that, I don't go looking for it, I suppose. But I quite like Mark McGowan.
What do you like about him?
Oh, I like his, I think he's pretty easygoing, and I think he's open to listening to people at least. And I think he's tries to be honest about things. But I've come to understand that, they are answerable probably to people higher up than them possibly, and they have to play certain game. They have to play the game.
Who do you think those people would be?
Oh, the media. Yeah, people in the media, people with money, people that support, big business, people who support,
So the rich.
The rich, yeah.
What happened was the second lot of counting was looking at where Liberal and Labor sat. So my vote actually went to Labor because I had Labor 8th and Liberal 9th. So that meant that vote went to Labor. So what's happened in Victoria, the same would have happened in Victoria in their election, that's just happened, is that the same process would have been followed. So we just ended up really with a whole heap of votes diluted across a whole heap of freedom parties.
What do you think is the problem though? I mean, that's what happened, but why do you think we're not being as successful as we feel we should be?
There's just not as many people, not as many of us as there is of them. I think Gary was just saying that was only 15% of the votes. That would have been looking at our forest electorate, I'd say. 15% of the votes that went to all the freedom parties. So we had Labor, Liberal, Greens, and then the other 6 were all, freedom parties or, upcoming parties. So that's a very small percentage.
And you've got to share it out.
Yeah, share it out across those 6 parties. So I just don't know. And it's not as if they didn't work hard enough, but they didn't start early enough. The election campaign for a lot of them only started at the beginning of the year, and we had the election in whatever it was, May. Seems like ions ago now, but the year's just flying by. But there's not enough lead up for them to get out there and get their message across and build relationships with people and maybe turn them from Liberal and Labor. And speaking to someone who we actually stayed with in Perth, who is an ex-young Liberal, and he was doing the counting at the same centre that we were scrutineering at, he said Labor and Liberal candidates are guaranteed pretty much 30% of the votes each.
Yeah, pretty much, I think, mate, but we just got to keep it going. Just keep the support going for each other and stuff like that. Yeah. But you kind of feeling like I question everything now, mate. There's nothing that I hear or I see that I can't even watch a bloody movie without enjoying it for just being a movie without seeing the symbolisms in it and all that sort of shit, mate.
Make sure everything's in. Okay, who do we have here?
Donna.
And we're in Bunbury still.
Yes, we are in Bunbury.
And what are you down here talking to the old tumbleweeds in the big old freedom truck?
I just wanted to see you because we are so grateful for voices like you getting out there, showing the true news, the true media of what's going on, and I was hoping that we could have a chat.
Yeah, sure. We'll chat away.
Would you like to ask me something, or would you like me just to share reflections?
So what do you do? Have you lost your job? You work for yourself? How's COVID affected you?
Yeah, for sure. So I work in network marketing, so I'm self-employed. We share holistic supplements with Plexus Worldwide, and we also have a property maintenance business with my husband. So thankfully, Mark didn't include property maintenance in the mandates. However, my 16-year-old son lost his job. That was his first job that he had last year for 6 months.
What was he doing?
He was working at Domino's. And I'm a different person now to this time last year. As I was just saying earlier, some of the rallies and the face-to-face with Mark this time 1 year ago, I was just like the exorcist. I had so much rage. I was so angry. I was so hurt. I was so upset. And at the
What were you angry at?
That he was just taking away the freedom of choice.
So over there is the great Southern Ocean. We're not at the cliffs yet, but we're close. I slept here in the truck with the door open, so that wind of the ocean was coming right over me. It's only in the morning it started to rain. I had to close the door. But I'm addicted now to almost not knowing where I'm going to wake up. We drove for 16 hours last night. It should sound tedious, but I don't know. It's not. And now today, thinking I've got all day in the truck, and literally all day. I mean, we'll be driving until Maurice is not allowed to drive anymore due to his logbook. But it's not tedious, And it's not like the countries like America with the Grand Canyon and all these great things to see out here. The only real thing to see is the vastness. It's just this endless space and this huge sky. And we're really lucky because even though it's close to Christmas, it's very mild. There's a can over there, like a memorial to some man who killed himself and his dog here. And, but it's not a bad place to die, if you look around. So here we are, and we're out of contact. I'm doing this so there's no contact with the outside world at the moment. So you're just disconnected. Yeah. You specifically want to talk about Freemasons, and I know everyone hears that. Everyone's going to sit up and go, here we go.
Yeah. Well, yes, I do, because I want to defend them, because there's so much misinformation out there and disinformation that it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I think where it starts from, people think they're a secret society, but of course they're not, because they have lodges in every other country town.
Freemasons written on the front.
With Freemasons written on the front.
What's Grindr?
Gay pickup page.
I'm out of all that, I'm afraid. I don't even know what this is. Okay. Yeah. So do I just stand here, sit here?
Yeah, you just sit here. Yeah. Look like you're clever. Look like you know what you're talking about. We'll go from there.
Okay.
Now, to those that don't know you, I'll just make sure it's going. What's your name and what did you used to do?
Yeah, I'm Jerry Roberts. I'm a newspaper reporter by trade. That'll do.
Yep. Now, I've interviewed you a few times, and you're here now. You go down the umbrella people. You've gone from one side to the other side, and basically that's the truth now. Of your mainstream media is on one side, and independent media is on the other. And you seem to have crossed the floor.
Well, it's a long time since I've been working in the mainstream media. So,
yeah, but philosophically.
The mainstream media is totally, completely wholesale prostituted, and journalism in that sense is dead.
Okay, Wow, who have we got here?
My name's Chloe.
Now, Chloe, tell us the group that you've started.
So I think it was in February this year, I started a Perth Young Adults meetup group. So we're all awake to what's going on in the world, the agenda that the governments are pulling over us. Just because I found myself even not knowing a lot of other people around my age that are clued on as to what's going on, and I found a lot of division. And I also knew other people around my age that were finding it really tough and mentally a really big struggle because of losing jobs, families pushing them out, and other social circles. So I thought it would be a really good idea to get people connected.
And how many group? 5, 10, 20?
600, and we're growing every day. So I think it was in the matter of the first day we had over 150.
Wow.
Then by the second day over 350, and it's just been growing from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you've got to give us a moment because that's such good news. Now, what are they saying when they join the group?
A lot of appreciation just to be able to connect with other like-minded people around our age.
Yeah.
Just having that support, that connection, to know that they can have a voice and be backed up by it, by other people. Yeah, it's really, it's freedom in a way.
What do they think that's happening? What are their views? I mean, people call it rabbit holing. What do they think?
So I get people from all ends of the spectrum. I have people that are just going, hey, what's going on in the world, and looking for information and knowing that there's something not quite right. And then I have people that have known about this for years, that they've gone down other rabbit holes, and they bring so much to the group. So it's really good. We bounce off each other, and yeah, a lot of good information, and just having a good time spreading what's going on in the world. Yeah.
Are you copping a lot of flack from the other side?
I don't really worry about that. I have no shame in it. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. If you have your opinion of what's going on in the world, great. But my whole thing is I don't like enforcing it on other people, which is what the government is trying to do. So, yeah.
You feel your freedom of choice and stuff have been taken away?
Absolutely, yeah, because I lost one of my jobs.
What was your job?
I was just working in a hospitality retail sort of thing, and I lost it, but also my career. So I wanted to do vet nursing. I've always wanted to do vet nursing since I was a young girl, and when that was taken away from me, that hit hard.
What year were you in? Because I've interviewed a few vet nurses who really took it hard that they couldn't fit.
Well, I was wanting to do my studies. So I'd done my Cert 3 in Companion Animal Services, and I wanted to do my vet nursing, which was in the year 2020, and that's when everything came crumbling down, and then the the boundaries and all of that came in. So yeah.
Did you ever consider taking it just to?
No, I'm very hard on my stance. I personally won't. I have grace and understanding for the people that have caved. I understand the amount of pressure and the feelings that they would have been feeling, but personally, no, I won't take it. No.
Can I ask why?
I've seen the effects that it's been doing to other people, and also I don't like putting something in my body that can potentially harm me or the future generations, so my children or my future partner.
Take guy. So the data we're seeing coming in from New South Wales is that everyone that's in their hospital with COVID is vaccinated, and same for those who are sadly dying of it. Most of them, a lot of them in their 80s and over, and everyone apparently who's dying of it is over 49. So no kids. So now the Greens in Victoria are pushing for everyone to wear masks again, probably in other states as well. Well, I suggest if you feel that the mask can protect you, if you feel that it gives you some solace, that the vaccinated people wear it in the pretense that it'll protect them from the other vaccinated people who will be spreading it. As for us, the unvaccinated, we've either had COVID, so are naturally immune and don't spread it, or we can't catch it because we're too tough. The only thing we're a danger to is the bullshit that so many of you continue to believe. Maybe because the truth is too overwhelming to accept. You are being lied to. You've been lied to from the start. You're being lied to now, and it's kind of coming now. To believe in this lie comes at a detriment to your health. If nothing else, I hope that your survival instinct kicks in. If not for you, then for your kids.
Gravity feels stronger these days. Is that why our energy continues to fade? It's like we've woken up on someone else's earth. It's like we've all woken up on somebody else's earth. Where were we when everything was changed? Was it when they made our houses our cage? For ever since then, everything we loved is now another reason to be ashamed. Why are we putting up with all of this? Don't we want all of our kids to know that they are all wanted, and that this land is their home? Why are we putting up with all of this? Don't we want all of our kids to know that they are all wanted, and that this land is their home? Corellas are on fire tonight, sharing their defiant larrikin souls. A larrikin song our kids may never sing in the silent world we're building for them.
Is watching like.
Sorry about that. There was supposed to be a little bit more where the song just finished out with those bees flying, but looks like I effed up. So I'll get it done properly and re-put it up. There's a few little things to fix, but that's the first premiere of it. So it's just like a little capsule of that particular trip, and then all the interviews of that trip will be on YouTube or Rumble. And, you know, you can just find them out and go from there. Anyway, just something I'm mucking around with. And thanks to all the people in Bridgetown who did interviews today. We've got three or four more to put up, some really powerful ones. And we've got an amazing another story heading our way that's just going to blow your mind. It's just incredible. Anyway, okay, take care. Have a good night, and I'll see you later.